Sometimes I'm a slow learner when it comes to technology. I just tried to do a live YouTube video, and I should have known after the last botched live on Facebook that I don't have the internet strength here to do that. I guess that's really neither here nor there. I can tell you a story and the reason my internet is not that strong. 3 years ago, right as I started work for the city, uh, I guess right after I started work with the city, I had a water leak at my house. I guess I'd been having it for quite some time and didn't even know about it, but water had gotten in the wall behind the shower spigots, and black mold was discovered when they came out. So insurance had to basically rebuild both of my bathrooms and all of the kitchen. It was a wise way to build the house in that all the water was in one area, but it was also all in one set of walls. Apparently it came in from the street, went under the living room. Then there was a hallway that went this way. And off that hallway, you had the kitchen, dining room behind to the right of the kitchen, and this little wallway. And then the two bathrooms were side by side, the one in the master suite and the guest bathroom. So they had to tear out all those walls, tear out all the cabinets in the kitchen, take both bathtubs out, take out the vanities and all that. So anyway, the insurance put me in the hotel for over a month. And being as tight as I am, I wasn't going to pay for internet for a whole month when I wasn't there. So I cut it off. And then when I got back, my phone was sufficient. I didn't really have tenants, or if I did, they had phones. So I've just used a hotspot since then. I didn't get it set up here at the apartment either. So that's why my internet is not strong enough. But on Monday, I'm leaving for the East Coast, and I know my parents and the other places I'll be staying, I believe, have Wi-Fi, real internet, high-speed internet. So I may try another live between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. But if you saw the announcement for the live, you saw that it was titled, "I may be a breakthrough case." I hope you're not concerned that I have COVID, but that's what most of us would think if we saw I may be a breakthrough case. I'm not coughing. I'm not short of breath. I wouldn't be here able to talk this well if I did have COVID. But I am a breakthrough case of a different vaccine. And I'll get into that in just a minute, but let me give you a background here. If you watched my Halloween weekend road trip videos, you'll know that I went out of town and me and my friend went to, I call it Canton Trade Days. I think it's actually called First Mondays. Canton First Mondays or something like that, or First Monday Trade Days maybe. And my plantar fasciitis was acting up, so I actually have a new friend now that's helping get over it. I picked this up at the Goodwill when I got back because a friend out there said a cane might help you. So I've actually been using that, and it is much better now. I will probably take it with me on the trip, even though I don't know that I'll be doing a lot of walking. So yeah, anyway, I'm healthier maybe than I've ever been, but I'm also having more ailments. So let me continue. Because of the plantar fasciitis, and the other friend is probably 20, I'd say probably about 20 years older than me, maybe 15, but she offered to rent us these scooters that they rent there so we could get around and just kind of, we were just doing kind of like a bird's eye tour. She had a few things she wanted to pick up for Christmas presents, but I'd never been before. Really the only thing I wanted or thought of once I got there was maybe some raw honey. So I did get a little bottle of raw honey, and that may play into what I'm going to tell you a little bit later also. I don't think it did, but concentrate. I came home from the event on the little scooter, and I noticed a very small scratch on my right knee. And I haven't had poison ivy in 20 years, and I didn't see any out there, and I would think it would be kind of scarce out there because they do have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people through this place every month, and I would imagine they would be very strict at eradicating nuisance plants like that. I didn't see any, but ever since Halloween, this leg has becoming more and more inflamed, and then I noticed it at other spots on my body. So I thought, oh, I'm scratching it, then I'm spreading it, but you go to the Mayo side or the FDA side, and it says you can't spread it from the pus. You can only spread it from the oil from the plant. I haven't been able to get a doctor to give me a true or their opinion of that. But I've said some of this on the live just a few minutes ago, so I'm trying to make sure I haven't said it in here. But let's fast forward to this week. I've been taking ibuprofen. Ibuprofen for the foot and for the swelling. And I'm not really supposed to take ibuprofen because of some of the medications I'm on for the stroke. But after the surgery, Dr. Mabry told me for a short period of time it wouldn't do any harm because I don't smoke or drink excessive amounts of alcohol. And those are the things that they're concerned about with ibuprofen when you're on a blood thinner, or an anticoagulant is what I'm on, or actually kind of both when I take them like I'm supposed to. But Monday, I guess Sunday, I went to the pharmacy thinking I would try to find some calamine lotion. I think it was called Caladril was the brand when I was young. And the pharmacist section was closed at Walgreens, so I just looked around on the shelves myself. I couldn't find any. So I went back, or maybe that was Saturday night. Went back Sunday during the day, and the pharmacy was open, and the pharmacist did help me find some calamine lotion. I didn't know they made clear anymore. If you've ever seen clear calamine, you know, this is the pink stuff. You used to look like a Pepto-Bismol bottle when you put it on. But if you knew that they now made it clear, make a little note down in the comments for me. So anyway, I got some of that, and it helped with the itching. But then I noticed it had spread to the fold near my groin and was coming up across my my waistline, belt line. And I've had this patch on my arm, and it's gotten bigger and bigger ever since the beginning. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there, that's a pretty good view. That is a mild case compared to what's on my right knee. It's spread down both sides and gone into the crease under the knee at this point. So I had an appointment scheduled Monday at JPS Health Center, which is rated #1 hospital in the country. And I'm not going to argue with it. They saved my life, so I'll give them kudos for that. Most people around here call it the welfare hospital because they treat you regardless of your ability to pay. And since I've left work, I just got my COBRA papers on Friday, so technically I'm without insurance at the moment. But once I send those in, it'll be retroactive until November 1st, is my understanding. So anyway, I'm just going along as usual, as if I have it, but knowing that they treat you regardless of your ability to pay, which basically means they don't hound you if you are unable to pay. They didn't even ask for a payment when I went, but I was scheduled to get my booster shot of the Moderna virus, and I'm doing that now because I plan to be visiting my parents next week and for probably all of December. And they live in a active senior community where the average age is probably 80. So at this point in time, they're allowing visitors in, but I don't want to be the bad visitor and take something in. So I got my booster shot because I was one of the first. Working for a police department, I was eligible to get the first round of the vaccine before a lot of other people. So if it does wear off in 6 months, then mine is gone because I got that on January the 11th of this year. The second one was in February. And I did have a bad reaction to the second one. It basically knocked me out for a whole day. So I just scheduled to have Tuesday off. But while I was at the hospital Monday, I had sent him a message Sunday night trying to get a same-day visit to see a doctor. My doctor is the attending physician. It's a teaching school, so it's a very good. They have a family medical clinic in the hospital, so I go to the hospital building, but there's a clinic on the fourth floor where the doctor's offices are. And the way they work is if you can't see your PCP, he oversees all these residents or interns or whatever they're called, so they give you somebody else, and the insurance thinks you saw him because they're the one on the insurance as your PCP. So they assigned me a young lady I had never seen before. And I put in rash on knee, possibly poison ivy. She was able to tell me that it wasn't poison ivy. However, she said, it might be a hive, but honestly, I don't know what it is. So I'm going to take some pictures and send it to a dermatologist if that we work with, if you don't mind. So she also had this student, a medical student in with her. So he held the measuring tape. She took the pictures. I've yet to hear from her since then. She prescribed a 1% hydrocortisone cream to help stop the itching. She said, well, if it doesn't, why don't you try that for a couple of weeks, and if it gets worse, call us back. We can maybe up the strength or something. Well, that did help that night. It didn't itch much during the night with that cream on it, but I'm also taking Benadryl, which definitely knocks me out, especially if I take 100 milligrams. I do have some concerns about high doses of Benadryl, but I'm going to do it anyway because it helps me to sleep when my leg is kind of itchy, itchy, itchy. Well, actually 3 or 4 spots on my body are itchy, itchy, itchy. I won't show you any of the other ones because I'm using the phone now since I can't use the webcam. I was thinking I could pull the webcam down and show you my knee. I guess I could send you a picture or post it on Facebook, but it's really rather angry looking is what the doctor called it. So then here comes Tuesday. I slept fairly well Monday night. Tuesday, I had planned to kind of just stay in bed all day the day after the vaccine booster shot, even though it's only half a dose on the Moderna trial. So yeah, forgive me if I'm scratching a lot. I am a little itchy, even though I don't have anything in my hair. I don't know, head or why I'm scratching that. And you can't see anything on me. Most of it is waist down, which is a little strange for this kind of a breakthrough. Other than that spot on this arm and a couple little dots on this arm. But anyway, I guess you want me to get to the end of the story here. Okay, so Tuesday morning, Tuesday during the day, they had a window from 8 to 5 with Glasslight Auto Company. I had a crack across my windshield for a year probably, and everybody in Texas has a cracked windshield. That's just part of the living here. I won't say everybody, but it's probably over 50%. So we don't get in a big rush to change it, but there was a possibility, and there still is a possibility, I may be driving to Virginia next week. I think it's going to work out where I can ride with the friend from Tyler, who was my youth high school youth choir director. So she lives in the general area, and it would be much less stressful and much less hectic if I could just ride with her. But with going into an area where there's a potential for snow, I didn't want to have a big crack across my window. I did get little dry spots on the back of both ears with this, so that's kind of funny. I've never had pierced earrings, so that no, there's no hole there from an earring to get infected. But I didn't want to take a chance of a snowstorm knocking the rest of the window out. So Tuesday, I had this window from 8 to 5, so I thought I'll just rest the rest of the day. The technician called me about 8:30 and said he thought he'd be here at 10. Well, about 9:15 he called and said, I'm 20 minutes out. I finished the other job early. I said, okay, I'll come down, bring the car to you. Took it out by the pool, met him there. He had already pulled into the lot before I could get down. And then, no, that's other light went out. Let me brighten it back up. So he got that done in about an hour. So I went back down. I think I came up, took a shower, maybe got something to eat, went back down, paid him, got my keys, put the car back behind the gate, came back up, and then took more Benadryl and went back to bed. I think I took about 3 different doses throughout the day, maybe every 4 hours, and basically slept the day away. Well, around 5, I thought I ought to bring Dr. Mabry into this and let him know what's going on. He may be able to give me an answer. So I sent him a detailed email with, basically what I've told you tonight, and immediately got back, "Oh, I'm sorry, Chip, but I think you have shingles." Like, ah. I said, well, I told him I never even thought of shingles because I had the vaccine. It was either in 2018 or 2019. The company or the city I worked for was pretty thorough in at least allowing us to get them or making them available to us. So I had Shingrix 2 doses, I think after my physical in 2019, but it may have been 2018. I tried to dig and find to give it an exact date, but I couldn't find a record of it. And his response was, you can still get it after the vaccine, but if you can send me a picture or give me more details, I could definitely. So I sent him I managed to get pictures and sent them to him. He said, definitely looks like shingles. And they go, if you don't know what shingles are, and I imagine most people do that are watching this, it's the chickenpox virus. And 90-some% of Americans had chickenpox when they were a child. And then the virus, once you recover from it, it hides in some kind of a nerve ending along your spine. And then if you stress your immune system, or as you get older, your immune system gets weaker, it sneaks out through a nerve, and so you get these spots like chickenpox all the way along that nerve. And generally it's very painful, very itchy, and very annoying. I got the last two, itchy and annoying. It hasn't been a lot of pain, and I'm not going to try to claim I have a high pain tolerance. I think I probably do, but I think most women have a much higher pain tolerance than I do, and I've known women that screamed and hollered at the pain of shingles. So I haven't been in a lot of pain, but that's my breakthrough, is that I had Dr. Mabry, like I said, had it diagnosed in the first email without even seeing a photo of it. And he's an older doctor, and he's been a military doctor, so I imagine he's seen a lot more than a newly minted doctor. Okay, and I have a question for y'all in just a minute about this situation. So he called in a couple of pills for me to the other Walgreens that stays open, that the pharmacy stays open till midnight, because this was almost 10 o'clock at night and thank goodness that he responds to my emails rather quickly, even if he's at home in the middle of the night. So he called the pharmacy. I went there, I picked up the pills. Prednisone was one of them, and the pharmacist said, don't take it till tomorrow because it might keep you from going to sleep. I'm like, well, I've slept most of the day. It wouldn't be challenging to keep me from going to sleep. But they said, take this other one, and I don't even remember the name. It's some kind of thing to treat herpes. And chickenpox is the virus, but it's called herpes zoster. Or there's another thing they use instead of herpes sometimes. But basically, antiviral herpes drug is a good treatment for it. So I went and got it, took one of those, did my routine, washed it off, used the Hibiclens I had left over from the surgery to try to wash all the ooze off without spreading it anyway. And it hasn't been really oozing much since I got the hydrocortisone cream. I did get 2 big blisters, I guess, yesterday morning. And I guess I got them popped somewhere throughout the night. But what I've learned with the shingles is that you can't spread it to somebody who's had chickenpox, but if they haven't had chickenpox, then that ooze can be passed to somebody that's either not vaccinated for chickenpox or never had natural immunity. So you got to be careful with the pus. I don't think I'm spreading it on myself because I've had chickenpox. But, my coach with Verta today said, oh, I hope you're enjoying your time in the hot tub. And I said, I went a couple times when I had the scratch and just starting out. But with pus, I don't think I want to go in the hot tub because it might contaminate somebody else. And I want it to be cleared up by the time I get to my parents. Here again, I don't want to be introducing germs into this senior community. And I do live at a senior community also. We don't interact here as much as they do at theirs, and it's a much, much smaller community. So anyway, that's my breakthrough. I had shingles, and these pills do seem to be helping. I woke up this morning to a voicemail from Dr. Mabry saying that the pharmacist had issued me a 500 milligram tablet, and it was supposed to be a 1,000 milligram tablet. So I need to go back up there and turn in the one that they'd given me and pick up the other one. How he knew, I don't know. Maybe when a doctor calls it in, the pharmacist lets them know, or maybe they were double checking. But I hadn't even told him what I'd gotten. I just told him I was taking it. So apparently there are some checks and balances in the medical field we're not aware of. But I thought that was very proactive of him to call me and then to email me to tell me that he had left a message on my phone. Because my phone's on Do Not Disturb once I go to bed. So unless you call like twice in a row, it's not going to ring through. But anyway, I'm feeling much better today. Like I said, I'm probably going to be 6 weeks in Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina. So videos will be coming from a different area if I get them done in the next 6 weeks. And what do y'all think of this new background? Did you like the black one better, or do you like this one better? You can put that in the comments too. And now here's the question I want you to help me with. When I went to JPS, the lady told me she didn't know what I had, but just to take this cream and help put it on. But Dr. Mabry was able to diagnose it in the first email. I didn't even have to call him and describe the conditions. The doctor I normally see at JPS is also an attending physician, which means he oversees the students or the interns or the residents or whatever they're called. And I do have his email address. I don't email him on it because he gave it to me to send some lab reports. He said, "You're not going to email me every day, are you?" He didn't want to give it out, but I couldn't get them loaded up on the MyChart. So my question is it important for me to notify him that the doctor that I saw was not able to diagnose shingles, which actually can cause problems with anaphylactic shock and failure, closing of your airways. It's not, I don't think it's going to happen with me because, like I say, most of it is concentrated below the waist, except for a couple spots on my arms and maybe one or two coming across the chest. But these pills are now keep getting it under control. I was thinking maybe I could just send the email chain with Dr. Mabry to the doctor at JPS and say, I'm not mad at the lady for not knowing, and I'm sure she sent it off to a dermatologist, and they could probably look at it and say, "Oh, that's probably shingles." She may have looked in my chart and said, "Oh, he had the shingles vaccine 2 years ago, so he doesn't have shingles," which maybe is a good response and maybe isn't. But do you think this attending physician should be aware of it, especially since she had a student with her? Because what I've been reading since I got that word in my brain is that shingles is increasing because of all the stress of what we've been through in the last couple of years. Of course, other things say stress doesn't cause a shingles outbreak, but it seems like more evidence says that it doesn't cause it. Okay, it doesn't cause it, but what stress does is increase your cortisol. Cortisol makes it so your immune system is dealing with something else, and then it's not keeping that virus in check. But the article I was reading said because of the stress of the past few years, the shingles virus was able to sneak out on a lot of people because their immune system was dealing with the stress of the day or the year or the pandemic. So I'm thinking a doctor ought to be thinking maybe it is shingles. So anyway, if you think I ought to bring it to his attention, I'm going to tell you I'm going to wait a few days, and I'm also going to ask Dr. Mabry if I should inform the attending at JPS. I'm going to wait a few days and make sure that this pill does correct it. I don't know that you can ever be healed of it. I think it can flare up again. But I'm thinking maybe because I have the vaccine, I didn't have the pain. But there may be a nurse or somebody else in the medical field that watches this. So I don't want to really complain about this lady because I was glad she could get me in. I'm glad JPS is there. And if I had to, I'd go back up there tomorrow, and say, hey, it got worse, What do you think? It could be shingles, but I think it's easier just to send an email to the attending there, even with pictures if I have to, and have him see if she should have caught it or not. But anyway, tell me what you think about that. And I will be on the road probably Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. So you might have a travel vlog. Who knows? I'll try to get something up, especially if I'm not driving. I know I have a Zoom call, I think about 1 o'clock on Monday. Oh, which that reminds me. Sorry, you don't need my nose hairs. I wanted to tell you about some of the new books I've been reading. For the one or two that may still be here. Gap in the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy has been phenomenal. I am about 2/3 of the way through, and it's already been life-changing. In fact, Dan Sullivan is who I'm going to be on the Zoom call with through the AMP program with Dr. Hardy. He's got them. And another book, I'm going to leave that bookmark in. I was going to take it out. It's a pen. Another book that Dr. Hardy recommended that I have had in my possession for a little while, but I hadn't had a chance to read it yet, and I'm only about 1/3 of the way through that, is the title is actually Essentialism, but you'll see this messy picture over here. It's basically saying going from this blob to this. The point is essentialism, and the author is Greg McKeown. What's the subtitle? The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And even though I hadn't read that book, I had heard some talks by Greg McKeown, and I had Dr. Hardy's interpretation of some of his talks. The air conditioner's right up there, and it's blowing right on me. That's why I'm coughing. I am not a breakthrough case of COVID. But essentialism was a lot of why I decided to give up my job, even though I hadn't read the book. So I'm enjoying reading it now. And it's kind of, I guess the easy way to put it is minimalism on steroids. And I am on steroids now. That was the other drug that gave me the prednisone, something like that. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. But that's a steroid to, I guess, stop the itching. And the hydrocortisone is also some form of a steroid. I've never done steroids, but I guess that medically they're all right. But essentialism is getting rid of everything in your life except the essential items. So if y'all are interested in some reading over the holidays, be sure to pick up one of those. I recommend them both, and I'm going to take both of them on the trip and get them finished up. So y'all have a great day and a great week, and happy holidays if I don't see you before then.